Hey guys, we're up to finally finishing the exterior of the house. Well, almost up to. I'm still waiting on my front and back door for repairs on those. And I can't put any of the exterior siding on until those front doors are installed because I have to have the house wrap inspected by the county. So we're kind of at a standstill, but I can still do some prep work for the Versetta Stone that we picked up yesterday. So let's get right into that. Let me show you how I'm preparing our post frame home for a Versetta Stone install. Let's start with the inside first. I think I covered this on a previous video, but for those that are new or maybe didn't catch the video when we did the framing for the main structure of the house, with a post frame, you have your horizontal girt boards and you have a couple of different options with this Versetta Stone install. The directions say that you need at least 2 fasteners into framing. So with us running our framing horizontally, I needed to add a few boards, which are the 2x4s that you see behind me. So the 2x6s are the required by the blueprints, 2 foot on center, and then each Versetta Stone row will have its own 2x4 girt board as well. That doesn't, the ones that at least don't fall on the 2x6. So we have framing to fasten to. That's one way you can do it. I chose this way because there's little to no cutting. With post 8 foot on center, I can get 8 foot 2x4s, run them all the way around and not have to cut a single one. The other way you can do it is running vertical slats in between your 2x6 girt boards. You can put a vertical board in here and fasten it to the wall. I didn't like that idea. 1, because it's a little extra labor, time consuming, more cuts. And for 2, this is going to give me a better, cleaner wall cavity to fill with insulation. So that's how I did the inside. Let's take a look at the outside, what I started yesterday and we're gonna finish up today. If you watch enough YouTube videos, you're gonna see that there's a lot of different ways to put this Versetta Stone on. This is just how I'm doing it. What I like to start out with is a piece of metal flashing at the bottom to help hide the bottom of your OSB and to kind of make your wall blend in with the foundation. I don't even know if you can see this black Z-flashing strip here because it kind of all blends in, but what I do is I liquid flash the bottom of my zip sheathing both on the surface here and up underneath this raw edge, so everything is nice and waterproof. And then we use spray foam on the inside along that bottom girt to fill in any gaps underneath the bottom girt board and the concrete foundation, so everything is nice and watertight, bug tight, and airtight. Then the next thing we do is put our starter panel on for the Versetta Stone. This is a plastic or vinyl piece here that holds that bottom row in place, keeps the bottom from kicking out, kind of locks the stone in, so to speak. So we run that right over top, and then your weep holes will run onto this flashing and out. It'll kick it out over the foundation, so it's dripping away from the house, which I like. I try to start underneath the windows and get my lines because I want my stone to run as parallel as possible to the bottom of these windows to make it look nice. So that's what we're doing. Let's get into this. It's really easy to do. I'll show you how we're starting out and getting this trim piece ran. Okay, what we're gonna do is continue running this Z flashing across this bottom side, around the corner, and over to underneath this window. So we got kind of a double piece here with this corner cut. I'll show you how we're doing that and how I fit these in. Now, what I like to do is look at how to seam your steel. So this is the front of the house. When you walk up, I don't want any seams visible looking down it this way. So when I seam these 2 pieces together, you shouldn't be able to see the seam walking from this direction. So let me show you how I'm doing that. Okay, we're up to the front corner here, and I'm gonna cut this piece to get ready for seaming it. This is hemmed at the bottom, so what I'm gonna do is cut an angle. So now my next piece will slide right over top of this and we'll get a nice look. We need to open this hem up, so I'm just gonna take a screwdriver here. Open the hem a little bit. And actually, Man, this is not gonna work. We gotta move that pallet. All right, now that we have the Z flashing cut, we can get this piece put up. We're gonna slide it over top. Just like that, seamed away, and we'll get our level here. I'm trying to get this up as straight as possible. I'm just gonna try to get it as straight as I can up to this corner. That looks pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and put a mark here. Okay, so here's my cut line. I'm gonna go ahead and extend that line down. This is where it gets wrapped around the corner. Then I'm gonna make 2 more marks, 1 inch apart from that. So 10, 11, 12. And we'll mark those 2 lines. This middle line, I'm going to extend out the bottom part of the Z. So this is what you should end up with. Here's the corner mark, 1 inch, 1 inch. Extend this middle line out, and we'll show you how we're going to cut this. We're all said and done. This is what it should look like. This was my line where the corner is. The middle line here we cut off and cut straight to the end here. This line we cut down and then cut from this over to the point here to leave you with the triangle. Let's go bend it around the corner now. So now we're gonna bend this corner around, and I want this down because I don't want to be able to see that. So that goes underneath. And this should bend right around to there. That'll give us a nice corner, and now we can go fasten our other end. It's a nice look at our corner. Have it wrapped around here. You don't see any of that. This seam will all be covered up because we're gonna put the starter strip over top, and then we'll have our second weather barrier over top of that, so this corner will be a non-issue right here. If you wanted to, you could put a little caulk here underneath, but I'm not worried about it for my application. And that completes that side. We're up underneath the window here. I'm going to put my level on this, make sure we're good, and then we're going to run 1 more piece and stop there because I have to make room for the door. And then we'll get our J channel put on top of this. I'll show you how we're doing that. Putting this J channel up is super easy, especially since I have the Z flashing set as close to level as I could possibly get. All I need to do is set this stuff down on top of it and then put the fasteners in. I'm using 1.5 inch pancake wood screws to fasten the J channel to the building. So I'm going 1 inch into the framing behind the 7/16 OSB, and I'm going about every 2 to 3 holes and putting a screw in, and I think that's going to be more than adequate to hold this bottom piece on, which holds the first row of Versetta Stone panels from kicking out, is really all it's meant to do. It's a necessary step, but it's a very easy step to do in that regards. And you'll see here all the holes on this next part. You can see all the holes there. I don't go every hole, and I think that's going to be more than enough to hold things together for us. Right, we are done. We're going to run the rest of what we can along the fronts and the sides without interfering with the doors. The final step for this, I'm going to put some leftover zip tape on the top of this just to give us a good seal in case any water does get behind our second weather barrier. It'll hit this and hopefully kick it out over. So we're just gonna use this since we have some extra. that finishes up our starter detail for this Versetta Stone project. Pretty easy to do, and I think it's a nice detail to force that water out away from the wall, away from the foundation on the house, and I think it looks nice in the end. The next step for us will be to put that second weather barrier on, and since I'm waiting on my doors, I don't want to get that stuff up too quick because the wind can get behind that and tear it off. So I want to wait a little bit on that. The doors hopefully should be in next week. I've heard that 3 or 4 times now, so we'll see what happens, but hopefully the doors come in next week. We can get those things installed. I'll show you how we're doing that, and then we can get this Versetta Stone going and get it wrapped up and begin to get the exterior of this house buttoned up and completely weather tight. So stay tuned for that. We have lots more to come. That's all I have for you guys today, since we're kind of waiting on things a little bit. I knew it was going to delay the project. I was hoping it wouldn't delay it this long, but it is what it is. We'll see you on the next video.